Mood Indigo, released in 2013, is the work of Michel Gondry. Michel Gondry is also the director of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, loved by many Korean fans. Today we're going to talk about the movie Mood Indigo. In our daily lives, we ask ourselves, will I be able to keep my current job? How long before I spend all my money? Will my happiness being with this person last forever? And in the extreme, how long before I die? We ask ourselves these things because we know that things that fill our life can disappear one day, just like foam. The Train Your Thought team watches the movie from this point of view. The original title of Mood Indigo means the foam of days, or froth on the daydream. And if you look closely at the meaning of foam, froth, or bubbles here a little bit more closely, you can interpret them as foam of our daily lives. What I mean by this is that things that fill our lives, the things that are deeply affecting our lives, look gorgeous and beautiful on the outside, but they can disappear in a moment's notice, just like how foam washes away in an instant. Mood Indigo speaks to us about these qualities of life through brilliant, creative ideas, colors that no one can match, and the jazz of Duke Ellington, arguing that our lives may be nothing more than a spectacular but impermanent image. Let's begin. First, before we look at the symbols in the movie, let's assume the background setting. Although accurate reasoning is difficult because it is surrealistic work, with the appearance of Jean-Paul Sartre, it is assumed that the film is set in the mid-1940s. This was just after the end of World War II, as we all know. The war shook the roots of big systems, such as the state, government, religion, and capital, and people were filled with chaos, which had to go beyond old values and the traditional worldview to create new things. Mood Indigo turns large systems of this period into targets of black comedy, in a situation where the movie could have been reduced to a boring and aggressive political film. It was Gondry's wit that saved it through creativity and visual beauty. First, Mood Indigo criticizes the government's harassment of the people. The group of typewriters in the first scene can be interpreted as an omnipotent government that takes full control and determines the lives of individuals as the film unfolds. A government, which is supposed to protect the sovereignty of its people, controls everything, from individual feelings to even death. Watching the government literally putting together the life of an individual, like deciding where to go on a date, deciding what food to eat, and so on, might remind you of The Truman Show or the Brand New Testament. You can also imagine movies like 1984 and V for Vendetta, where you're constantly under surveillance. The director makes a caricature of this nature of the government and shows how pretentious or imperfect the system we believe in actually is. The next target is religion. The movie exhibits a materialistic religion, a religion full of empty rituals, a religion that makes you compete for marriage, a religion that secretly worships philosophers who say that God is dead. This casts a doubt on whether the very religion we give our spirit to is truly worth believing. And finally, the film highlights the cruelty of capitalism. This is illustrated very well by the main character, Colin. The once wealthy Colin spends a fortune on Chloe's medical bills and reaches to the point of bankruptcy. The money he earns in compensation for cruel labor is a meaningless sum compared to Chloe's medical bills. Eventually, we question whether our work will create enough value to support our lives. It shows the grim, cold reality that scarcity of the materials we need to sustain life can lead to the destruction of life itself. The film also questions philosophy, beliefs, and ideas. The film features a philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre, to point out the blind spots of Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism. It delivers a message that even the true restoration of human nature can eventually become impossible when there is a crisis on human existence itself. To briefly explain the existentialism of Jean-Paul Sartre, it is that unlike other things, human existence precedes essence. For example, a chair is an object made to sit on. The objective or essence of sitting compelled the creation or the existence of the chair. But humans are different. The existentialist perspective views humans as beings thrown into the world with a certain shape of existentialism, and with their own will, they create the essence. And with their own will, they create the essence of life. But the movie points out the blind spots of existentialism. First, you can see this from the chair from the scene where Colin is interviewing for a job. Does the essence of the chair come first? Well, here exists a chair that doesn't play its essential role. How do you explain this through existentialism, huh? The chair in the movie asks this question. The film finds another blind spot and shows it through Chloe, who is dying of an incurable disease. According to the theory of existentialism, you need to have the form of a human first, before the essence. But what if you were in a situation of losing that human form to a disease? Can humans seek to restore the essence? Does Chloe have free will when she's dying of disease? With this question, the movie once again explores the weaknesses of existentialism. Lastly, Jean-Saul Sartre is killed in the movie. The setting of the movie, where even a genius philosopher without a heart is only a shell, suggests that philosophy and beliefs may only be a flurry of nonsense created by an age just as imperfect as human beings. The main plot of the movie is the love story between Colin and Chloe. But Colin's destined partner Chloe catches a disease where a water lily grows in her right lung. As her death comes closer, their love draws to an end. Full of frustration, Colin ends the relationship with his close friend Nicola. Colin's best friend Sheik is blinded by a philosopher, steals money from Colin. The film tells us that through a series of events, relationships and emotions, such as love and friendship, even ones that we thought would be perfect, could one day disappear, like foam. Mood Indigo is not a hopeful movie like the movie Poster. It is in fact empty and bitter, but it doesn't mean that happiness is never expressed in the movie. In the movie, there is a dance called the Big Lamois. The happiest moment for the characters in the movie is when they dance the Big Lamois. We can infer what happiness is by considering the principles and properties of the Big Lamois dance. The principle of the Big Lamois is that when a man and a woman dance closely, the center of the two is fixed, creating a wave. This means that you have to be together with other people. Coincidentally, it was with this dance that Colin and Chloe start their relationship. No matter what kind of society you live in, how much money you have, and what kind of relationships you've had in the past, the fact that you were together with people whom you were close to is the most meaningful and gives you the greatest happiness. Like so, happiness can be found in small places within our daily lives. Like in the movie, our lives may be mirages filled with froth. A huge system that has sustained and maintained our lives. A philosophy and religion that has long been responsible for our souls. And relationships with other people. All can bring about a moment of happiness. But everything can crumble down under a mere accident or a new paradigm. And another thing that we shouldn't overlook is that our bodies too end with death. So at the end of this frothy life, what's left for us? What would come to mind when the bubble pops? When we think about what our lives were like on the brink of death, we don't think, I lived under a certain system, I made a lot of money from going to a certain company, and I had a strong belief in a certain philosophy. I think the first thing that would come to mind at the end of your life is the happy memories of being together with your loved ones. Train Your Thought believes that Colin still must have thought that his life was meaningful, even if the government, religion, and capital was against him, even if the people he loved had left his side. He had happy memories and sought small happiness in life. Mood Indigo is a movie that tells us, who are living a frothy life, that things that prove our lives and existence do not have to be big things, but could be small happy moments in our daily lives.